This episode of Out of Spec Reviews is brought to you by Magna. More on that later.
This is the Ford. I can't do Doug De Niro.
Guess what's here?
The F-150 Lightning.
Oh my God, and I'm 260 pounds and 5'10". I fit in the Frunk, no problem. Hey Jordan, what are you doing, dude?
Dude, I was taking a nap in the Ford F-150 Lightning. This just arrived at Out of Spec Studios. We're up here in Fort Collins at our offices. And yeah, we're gonna spend like a week and a half with this thing and do a lot of stuff with it. I've got Zach here behind the camera and we're introducing you to the vehicle and everything we want to do. We're gonna do a quick walk around. This is not the full review. This is not any deep dive on anything. This is just like first impressions, having a bit of fun, talking about what's upcoming over the next few weeks. So we obviously have lots of questions, right?
Yep, tons of them.
And we're gonna try to answer our own questions, but also I'm sure you guys have questions. So tell us in the comments or tweet at us or whatever, what do you want to know? What do you want to see us do with this truck? Because we have it for how long?
10 days.
10 days.
All right, Jordan, what are we looking at here, buddy?
So while we're up here, why not just talk about the elephant in the room? You might be able to fit an elephant in here, I don't know.
Maybe, you never know.
This is the Mega Power Frunk. Ford is so excited about this thing.
And now is that the official name?
That's the official name from Ford.
And why do they call it the Mega Power Frunk?
MPF. I don't know.
Is it because of the power?
Actually, it is because of the power. So here is power. You have 2.4 kilowatts of onboard power up here.
In the front?
In the front.
Not counting the rear?
Yeah, this is just the front. So 4 of these NEMA 520, I think that's what it is. They have the little line on it, so you know they're 20 amps. Plus USB-A, USB-C, little button, I guess, to circuit reset maybe.
And that's for your front tailgate parties, right? Because
yes.
Yeah, sit up in there and just kind of sit down like you're hanging out and like you got shade.
I got shade. You could, like, I'm guessing aftermarket's gonna go crazy with this thing. Get like a TV mount here, plug in the TV, your Xbox, mini fridge. They even say on their press release, you could do a small hot tub. Actually, I think that's out of the rear, but they mentioned a small hot tub, which is, this is a tailgating machine, although now it's the front, so not really the tail. So what would you call that? What's the new version of tailgating?
Front gating?
Front gating.
I guess that sounds like a scandal though.
Yeah, but the big deal with this, Mega Power Frunk, biggest Frunk in the business, at least as of the time of them releasing.
Do you know how many cubic feet this is?
14.4-ish, 15, 400 liters of volume.
Liters, okay.
400 pounds of storage payload up here in the front, which is part of the all-inclusive payload of the truck. So. Let's take a quick note on that. 2,235 pounds payload, unless you get the Platinum, which we have here. This is top spec, 90 grand. That limits the payload to 1,800 pounds. 400 of that can be up here in the front.
Yeah, and we were talking about that. We're trying to figure out why the Platinum, in particular, you lose so much capacity by just having a Platinum package.
Because that's the big deal, the up to 10,000 pounds towing. Unless you have the Platinum, then it's only 8,400, which is still totally
And
decent.
You lose range with the Platinum too, right?
Up to 320 miles, whereas the Platinum gives you 300. It's got to be these 22-inch wheels, which we'll look at in a second here.
Yeah, they're pretty meaty.
This episode is proudly brought to you by Magna. Magna is a mobility technology company that is super unique because they touch every aspect of almost every car in the market, especially a lot of electric vehicles, and they even can produce vehicles from the ground up. Now, you may remember I shot a series just recently testing some of their new electric vehicle powertrains, so stay tuned for a lot of Magna content to come. We're going to be going in depth with some really interesting topics with these guys, and Out of Spec wants to thank Magna for sponsoring this review and tons of other videos to come right here on Out of Spec. We look forward to working with Magna to define and find out what the future of mobility looks like.
All right, we paused to turn off the fans because it was loud. It's warm out here.
It is.
We're roasting, but we had to bring you the coverage.
It's 82 in Colorado right now, and this is roasting for us. Sorry, Texas.
I just came from Texas. Yeah. You got nice netting right here. A couple hooks and hooks in here too.
What's behind here? Is that your 12 volt?
Yeah, I think so. Which actually I think you can access from up here.
Huh?
No, I don't know. Maybe not.
Made in the USA, tell you what.
Nice. That's the drain plug, by the way. So
Oh yeah, because this is a cooler, right?
yeah, under storage, you can fill this up with ice, throw all your drinks in there, just like the Rivian.
But just down here, not the up top?
Technically, you could do all of it. You couldn't fill it up because there's
Yeah.
electric and stuff. But this whole thing was cool. They mentioned you can slot this wherever you need it, whether here or
Like a divider
back
kind of
here.
thing?
Yeah, like a divider or like an angled divider.
Oh.
You can flip it upside down and get measurements.
Hey, look at this, 400 liters. They're showing off, 400 pounds.
That's the cheat code.
And then you got your measuring stick up here.
Inches, yep. Not quite as much as the back, I don't think. The bed has a lot more.
Yeah, the bed's a lot more
But while
utility.
this is open, let's see what's in this bag here. I think
Yeah,
this
let's
is
see what
the-
kind of charger Ford is including these days. I heard it's really nice now.
Yeah, 30 amp connector. Looks like NEMA 1450. Yep, right
Wow.
there. And then also a 120 volt outlet. So
Right out of the box.
right out of the box, they include that. Hear that, Kia?
Yeah. My Hyundai had the charger, but not the Kias.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
So
But
that's great.
really cool to
That's
include
great
that.
to have. Yeah. So it'll charge very slowly on a 120 volt outlet.
Oh God,
but
I wouldn't even want to know.
the 240 should do the trick.
And what's the total capacity on this truck? The battery capacity?
131 kilowatt hours, which I don't know if
Is that usable?
I'm
or?
guessing that's gross.
Okay.
If I had to guess, they don't specify it, but that's my theory.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's some nice tie downs right here. Like that's your
They really thought it through with the Frunk. And this is a game changer for people who are truck people like myself, because 9 times out of 10 when you have a truck, where are you going to put your suitcases? You're going on a road trip, you're
Yeah.
taking your family somewhere. This is like
it's external lockable storage
Yes.
without a tonneau cover. or anything
without a
like
tonneau
that.
cover, because a tonneau cover, you know, you got to spend big money to get a tonneau cover that's worth a crap.
Yeah.
You know, so I think
Oh.
this is so thoughtful of Ford to include this.
Right here, the light switch.
What?
You can turn off and on the interior lights. They made a
Oh.
big deal about that.
Yeah.
So I actually met the designer, the engineer in charge of this entire thing, the Mega Power Frunk.
Yeah.
That was, imagine that being your role for like days
Yeah.
or months or years. I don't know how long that was, but
I think this is really great, and I think this should be like the new standard basically for Frunks.
yeah.
Just like how much usable capacity you have, and just how very useful. So what is the color code on this one?
This
Jordan?
is rapid red. So
Rapid red.
Just like you've seen in probably the Mustang Mach-E, a lot of cars. This is Ford's, flagship red. You get the cool light bar, which looks really cheap to me. What do you think? I mean, this is like Tupperware.
It reminds me a little bit of Tupperware, I think, or those storage bins in your attic or something like that.
It's okay. It's not bright, so don't expect like the piercing LED
Yeah.
daytime running light signature a lot of cars have. At
Here, why
night,
don't you
you'll
pop
see
on the
this.
lights so we can get a little...
Yeah, at night you'll see this, but not so much during the day. Same with the rear. And you actually only get the
Yeah,
bars.
it's not much.
Yeah, it's very dim. You only get the light bars if you get XLT and up. So the base Pro model does not get that, which is fine.
I don't think it's necessary, to be
No.
honest with you.
Also, the grille. It's just, it's there. it's just all black.
This is not see-through. This is it's very plasticky.
Yeah.
But I was driving this around. I went to take this to go get McDonald's for lunch today, and I was telling Jordan, I was like, you know what? No one cares that I'm driving a Lightning, like, because no one can really tell the
This is
difference.
so subdued. It's just F-150, but electrified.
Yeah, and
It
these
is
are
the
a
most-
dime a dozen everywhere up here for
It's the most
F-150s.
aerodynamic F-150 ever because this is blocked out.
Yeah.
So that's cool. The new lights signature.
I think it's all right.
Otherwise, yeah. So these are the big 22s.
Yeah, these are the 20, and we're rolling on General Grabber 275 50 22.
All seasons.
Yeah, all season. So that's a pretty, you don't have a lot of sidewall there. It's a beautiful wheel though.
Yeah.
I do like the wheel.
I like the design. You can also get 18s or 20s depending on your trim.
Get a little pick of the suspension back there. So what are we rolling on suspension wise?
So they have a beefed up front suspension from the other F-150s. It is about the same setup though. The big deal was the rear suspension on the Lightning.
Right.
Independent rear suspension for the first time in
Oh,
F-Series
okay.
trucks.
So we lost the straight axle.
Yep.
With because I think the new one's coil spring with the straight axle,
Yeah.
right?
So this is the first ever independent rear suspension F-Series trucks since their inception. So 45 years running, this has been the best-selling truck in America.
And now Ford does have a little experience in the rear IFS department with the Expeditions, because the Expeditions have been rear
yeah.
IFS for a while.
So they knew how to do it.
Which is, they kind of knew how to do it, but I don't think they implemented it here.
Let's talk about your favorite thing, Zach.
Yeah, this is the real Charger.
The real Charger, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's like the exact same part pretty much from the
Now let's go check out the other side.
Yeah, so for the sake of making things the same, they did the same thing over here, except it's fake.
So I'm gonna tell you my critique on this, and I'm gonna tell you why. I
Okay.
think how much more effort would have been for them to put just a level 2 in there? Like, I believe, what car, like the Taycan.
Taycan does
We have
that.
it on both sides.
Yeah.
So like, I think that's kind of I think it's cool that they made it look the same, but nothing pisses me off more than stuff that's not functional.
I agree. So the challenge with garages is like, you never know what garage they're going to have or which way they're going to need to pull in, and it's always going to be like, oh, the level 2 is on the other side. Level 2 should be on both sides. I'm fine if DC fast charging on one side. But
Yeah, that's fine.
I like having
Level 2 should be on both sides, because when you pull into a parking garage, you know, you don't know which side the plug is going to be on if you're charging publicly, or like you said with a garage.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to spend big money to get your cord where you want it to be, or you're like, you know, running it up the roof or something like that. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
But, yep. So do what do they call it? Super crew cab, 5.5 foot bed. That is all Lightnings.
Yeah,
That's
there's
the
no 6.5.
Only option for Lightning is this exact spec. No 2-door, no 2.5. It's all. You do have the new Lightning badge with its blue backing, which is cool. You know, for all you enthusiasts out there, there has been Lightning F-150s before.
Yeah.
But they're supercharged V8s instead
Yeah.
of electric.
What was the last year of the Lightning? Was like 03,
Yeah.
I think was the last year of that particular body style of F-150, and then they discontinued the Lightning, and that was the first Lightning to be supercharged, but its numbers weren't that insane, really, right?
Not great, but it was good performance truck.
Yeah,
So
it was on a 5.4 Triton V8
Yeah.
with a supercharger, and it was the fun.
It was cool.
It was the coolest truck at my high school. If you had one of those in my high school, you were the cool kid.
Yeah, exactly. My friend got back from Afghanistan and he just immediately bought a Lightning back then. It
Yeah,
was,
we'll look up the original. I'm kind of curious now. I'm gonna look that up. The original horsepower numbers for the
Yeah.
first Lightning, because there was also another generation Lightning before that, in the 96-ish F-150s in that body style.
Yep.
And that was nothing to write home about. They didn't even put a supercharger on it.
No, but this is the new like fastest Lightning. Got a new badge here with the flag and a
I
lightning
think that's
bolt.
really cool.
Yeah, really
It's like,
like
hey,
that.
we're electrifying America. You know, Joe Biden drove one of these, right?
I did. Well, I didn't get to drive it. I rode in it right before he drove it and leaked it. It was really funny.
Really?
Here's the rear light bar, of course. So you get that for XLT and above. And
And we were noticing when we were walking up to it, that it's like very subtle. And
with the rapid red especially, it's
Yeah.
so subtle. You don't even notice. Open this power tailgate right there.
very cool.
More
Bedliner
measurements.
standard, right? I believe.
Yeah, I think the bedliner standard. And now you can go metric. In the front trunk, we had inches, and now we have centimeters and inches. So
Yeah, so you have this is I
That's
believe is for the working man.
Yep.
You
all
have
sorts of things to place stuff.
and this is on the other F-150s too. We reviewed this. This is where you can clamp stuff down. You got
That's
it on
cool,
either
yeah.
side. And then this is all a usable workspace. And the classic Ford step.
Yeah.
I swear they haven't improved on this since this first came out.
Works great.
But why improve on it when it already
don't
works?
fix it if it ain't broke. That
Right.
was their mentality with this truck. Is it looks just like a normal F-150 because it is. They didn't want to do something crazy like the Hummer EV or the Cybertruck or the Rivian. They just thought, our customers already love our trucks. They're already buying 1 million a year. We'll just make the same thing but electric, which is strategic because a lot of people could adopt this because the bed is the exact same dimensions as the 5.5 foot bed from the other ones, you know, and the cab too. So all the
It's very
accessories,
familiar.
all the accessories people have bought and for their businesses or for personal use, they all fit. So there's nothing new about this bed. You do
What's the
have,
horsepower and torque on this, real quick?
Oh yeah, 775 foot-pounds of torque, 580 horsepower.
So the 2003 Lightning was 380 horsepower.
Ooh.
I don't know the torque, but you know.
Bit less. Even the small battery pack gets 400 and something horsepower.
And
We'll
the
look that
torque
up
stays
in
the
a
same,
second.
right?
Yeah.
So that's what's
Same
so
torque,
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here is the 7.2 kilowatt Pro Power on board in the back here. So you have a couple more of those
Household outlets.
standard 120 volt and then the big 240 volt.
Yeah, I'm excited about that because I want to hook up a RV to this.
Yeah.
And we're gonna it's probably gonna be Kyle's Sprinter.
Probably.
And we're gonna hook it up and turn the AC on to see if this will run the AC, because how many of y'all out there have an RV and you've thought to yourself, well, I don't want to bring a generator, you know, I just want to go camping in like a Walmart parking lot or something. How great would this be for RVers? I could hook up my RV to this because this actually has a larger generator than the hybrid, right?
Yeah. So yeah, this can do 7.2 kilowatts back here, 2.4 in the front. That's where they get the total 9.
Oh, that's where the 9's coming from.
Yeah,
So this is
9.6
pretty
kilowatts.
much the same as the hybrid.
It should be, yeah.
Yeah.
30 amp on this 240 bolt right there.
And so that's a NEMA 30, what is it?
Something
NEMA
30.
3050 or whatever it is, but it's a 30 amp.
30, yeah.
Yeah, which we have a 30 amp charger. So we'll actually plug in a car to this too and see what kind of kilowatts we can pull off of this for hijacking battery power.
Yep.
Because we did that with the Ioniq 5 and that was right around like 2 kilowatts.
Yeah.
So it'd be really interesting to see what kind of juice we get out of this. Now, it's power up too.
Folding. That's
a game changer. I like that.
right there.
So it's not just a dampener.
Nope.
And how did you engage that?
Just the same button.
Okay, so the same button release to the drops and puts up.
Rear view camera, bed view camera.
One thing I was noticing here on the rear parking sensors is this guy right over here. Normally they're just here on the back on most F-150s, but I noticed this one. Is that for the self park, you think?
I don't know.
Or for something with Blue Cruise?
They've got 6 around back, so
yeah,
that's cool. These are like same,
they're
like
beefy.
Cheap plastic feeling, but
yeah,
it makes sense. Here's the blind spot radar hidden in there, I guess.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Sweet. Yeah, let me grab the iPad. I want to talk you guys through some plans we have for this truck, but also a few more of the nerdy specs, because
I'm gonna show them the rear real quick, Jordan.
Core audience. Rear what?
Oh yeah. So you can see right here underneath the truck our rear drive motor, and you can also see a pretty beefy skid plate under here, but this is rear independent front suspension. That's steel, baby. But that hangs awfully low, by the way. For you off-roaders out there, this is very, very low. This is below the rear tire. And you got massive control. My God, this lower control arm is massive. Very beefy. I mean, the drive shaft is huge. These shocks, very big. And check it out, no more leaf springs. You know, we're completely riding on coilovers, basically. And that skid plate, if you can see it, goes all the way down the truck. So your battery pack's right there in the middle. And then, but that skid plate does offer a fair amount of protection. I mean, I definitely have confidence taking this down the trail.
So yeah, some of the highlights, I guess. This can come in the Pro, XLT, Lariat, or Platinum. This is of course Platinum, maxed out about 90 grand. We'll definitely road trip this a little bit. Basically just live with it as much as possible. Let's see, so the standard range, yeah, this is at 230 miles. This one's got 300, or if you don't have the Platinum with the big battery, 320 miles, EPA. Okay. Now that leads me to another video we're gonna do, the range test. We're obviously gonna range test both. This, which I'll be curious to see if this actually only gets 300 miles, or if we can
I bet it's gonna be well under 300.
You think so?
Yeah, from our experience with range test, we seem to come under by like 20 or 30 miles of whatever the EPA says.
Yeah.
And we go all the way to dead, by the way, people.
Yep. So tune in for that. And then, yeah, like we said earlier, 775 pound-feet of torque, no matter which version. But the lesser battery is 98 kilowatt hours. Okay. So almost the same as the Mach-E battery pack, and 452 horsepower, but still that ridiculous amount of torque.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, that they didn't leave out, even if you're getting the base model, which personally, I was telling Jordan earlier that I'm probably gonna end up ordering a base model right now, just because I know it won't be here for a year or two. And also I want to lock in that $39,000 price. And I'm talking base. I'm not going to get any of the frills.
That's before tax credits even. Like,
yeah, because this is still eligible for the $7,500 federal credit. Plus here in Colorado, we have another $2,500.
Yeah.
So you're talking almost 10 grand basically.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, total of 11 outlets. So you saw the 4 up front, the 4 back here, plus the 240, and then there's 2 in the cab. So that's 11 outlets. That's ridiculous. That's more than...
That's insane. That's more than our office upstairs.
That I've had.
Our office upstairs, for those of y'all who've never been, only has like 3 outlets. So.
Yep. 0 to 60, mid 4 seconds, which is very not specific. But we're going to test that. So stay tuned for that. I think it's quicker than mid 4 seconds.
I think so too.
I guess what is mid? Like 4.3 to 4.7?
Well, like to kind of give you like frame of weird reference, like my Ioniq 5, they say like is 5.2 or something like that, but everyone on the forums is 4.8.
Yeah.
For 0 to 60. So I bet this is going to live up to the Lightning name, and I think it's going to be very fast. We're going to get it out to the drag strip, and we're going to run it against a couple. We got the Rivian that Kyle just bought from Normal, so we're going to be running this truck and the Rivian side by side, because in all honesty, if you're spending 90 grand, you're definitely looking at a Rivian as well.
Those are the 2 electric trucks. Okay, Hummer EV, technically an electric pickup truck, but no one's buying them and keeping them because they buy them and sell them for 300 grand. Yeah. If you want an electric truck, it seems to be F-150 Lightning or Rivian at this point in time. Obviously, I'm excited for Cybertruck.
Is it technically the Rivian a midsize? Isn't it technically a midsize truck?
I think you could call it that, but it's like a bigger midsize versus this is like...
This is a real man's full size.
ton this one? This one's 3/4 ton, right?
No, this is a half ton.
Half ton, okay.
Yeah, but it's getting confusing these
It
days,
is.
by the way, because you know, when I was younger, an F-250 would tow 11,000 pounds, and that was big numbers. You know, now you can get an F-150 spec in the gas version to up to 13,000 pounds.
Crazy. Anyways, and then the standard battery will do 5 seconds 0 to 60. Towing and payload, we already talked about what this can do. The standard range can do 7,700 versus this 8,400 versus the non-platinum big battery 10,000.
10,000.
And payload, yeah, 2235, which I think is Mega Power Frunk and the bed split between them. Of course, with this one, you only get 1,850 pounds. I think I said 1,800 earlier, so it's actually 1,850. Yeah, various packages. I mean, you know, it's Ford stuff. You can spec it pretty dramatically. But I know the power, they mentioned a lot of things when I went to the unveiling about what the power is capable of. And the spec I came away with that was so fun was you can cut 30 miles of plywood on this battery pack using the outlets in the bed.
30 miles.
I wish we could test that, but like, I don't feel like doing that.
What did they say you could run your house? It's like 2 days. You could run your whole house?
3 days.
3 days.
So if you have the optional extra of the, what do they call it? Ford Charge Station Pro, if you buy that, you can charge up to 80 amps and it'll power your house for 3 days or up to 10 days if you conserve, whatever
and that's
that means.
that's not using the generator, that's using the
actually
CCS.
using the CCS. So
Yeah.
CCS, that's the beauty of that, is you can kind of do bi-directional. So
Yeah. I wonder if you can do, here's a question, run the generator and have the CCS going at the same time.
I don't know.
That'd be a fun one, but of course we don't have the house adapter.
Yeah, as soon as we can get the Ford Charge Station Pro, it'd be cool to do a lot of testing with that and really see like, okay, how much can you run on your house for 10 days on just the truck? That'd be wild. Some charging times they give you, so that's another thing we'll do is a charging test, obviously.
I'm very excited about
They
that.
claim 150 kilowatts and let's see, on DC fast charging, they just give 15 to 80% numbers. We will do 0 to 100, give you the full curve so that you can figure out which part would charge how long.
And I'm curious, you know, are we going to run it on that EV Ghost charger by your house in Denver?
I think so. That's the plan, because that one will deliver 500 amps if they can even take that. But up to 150 kilowatt, as it says, and then 44 minutes from 15 to 100. About 41 minutes with the extended battery, 44 with the small battery.
And do you get a little complimentary charging like you get with the Mustang? I think you get like 200 kilowatts with the Mustang or something.
They didn't mention that in this, but that would.
I'd be curious to find that out. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, I mean this whole week and a half we're spending with this truck is just going to be learning for everyone.
Yes.
Because we have all the stuff on paper, which I'm explaining to you, and we're explaining our feelings towards it. But like,
and this is June 9th, by the way. I think this released to the public for like people actually receiving their orders in like the last 3 weeks. It has not been that long at all.
They've just started trickling out. I still haven't seen one on the road other than this.
We're one of the first media outlets to get this truck. We're the first media outlet to get this particular truck at all.
Yeah, thank you, Ford.
Yeah, thank you, Ford. Really do appreciate that.
And then they have like all these, I'm not going to read all this stuff because this is all available online. We're not here to just regurgitate press releases, but talk about some of the things it has. Like I'm skipping all the other trims to the Platinum because that's what we have here. So we do have Copilot 360 Active 2.0, which we will test against the Rivian's own
This is
system.
Blue Cruise. This does have Blue Cruise.
That's going to be great. Also with the Platinum, I can't wait to talk about the audio system because that's my jam.
It has a great audio
This
system.
has the 18 speaker Bang & Olufsen, which the one down, I think the Lariat, you could get 10 speakers, I think.
Yeah, it's like a Sony system or something.
It's still B&O.
No, still B&O, okay.
Yeah, but this is like the big B&O. So they put the Bang in Bang & Olufsen, you know what I'm saying?
It's got a lot of, it's got speakers in the headrest.
Yeah.
Or not in the headrest, in the roof.
In the roof, yep.
Yep.
So a lot of interesting stuff there. I mean, there's pretty much, it's just a maxed out truck. With the Platinum, you get the glass roof.
Yeah, so let's hop in.
Let's hop in. It's hot out here.
It's hot in here, yeah. All right, so we got the AC running in here because our iPhones are overheating in this heat, which
Come on, Apple.
Come on, Apple, like for real, like. But let's turn the fan down a little. Or here, let's just pop it on. Auto 1.
So what do you think of this infotainment? I mean, you've used it in the Mach-E.
Yeah, I mean, the only time in the Mach-E I ever spent in a Mach-E was the Mach-E vlog, folks.
That's right. Yeah.
When we did the Ioniq 5. So it had the same screen, and personally, I think that it fits better in the F-150 than it does in the Mach-E.
It's a
I think it's integrated better into the dash. It's more flush mounted. In the Mach-E, to me, it just seems like they put it up there and was just like, okay, cool, this is our screen now.
Yep. 15.5 inches. So of course you get the standard, which is still big. What size is that? 12?
Yeah, 12.1 I think is the standard.
So that's still a big screen.
Yeah.
But with this, you get 15.5 inches now vertical instead of horizontal. Here you can see Android Auto taking up a good chunk of the real estate. Love that. It's a good system. Here's one of your outlets there. Just plug in power everywhere.
And
USB-C, USB-A, it's all there.
With some of these outlets, this is a 20 amp outlet. That's household status.
Yeah, this is legit. I love the second glove box you get. There's the Blue Cruise sensor.
Yep, so it's right here instead of on the Mach-E, it's right here on the wheel, up at the top of the wheel.
Yeah.
So I think this is way better integration, and it doesn't like make you wonder, what is that?
Yep. Nice panoramic roof, which you can open even further.
Yep, we can full back. So it's pretty standard, you know, in F-150s with these pano roofs now. But Ford was the first manufacturer to bring the pano roof to the pickup truck world.
Yeah, big fan. Wireless phone charger down here.
Let's shut that because it is hot.
It is hot. Yeah, the
wireless phone charger down here. This is really cool too, I noticed. They have this nice little cover for that, which is...
And I like the wood grain.
Yeah, it's kind of like a real woody,
yeah,
wood grain kind of feeling. And this fits a monster Android phone like mine, which is great. And other cool things that, you know, you've seen in other F-150s and things like that. We're not trying to... But I just love this. Earlier, like I said, I got McDonald's for lunch. And guess where I ate my McDonald's? Right here.
There.
You know, this is so handy.
The workstation, as they call it.
And Jordan, grab this seat. I don't know if y'all have noticed or heard about these, but these seats fold all the way.
Yeah, I wanted to mention this has the Max Recline, which is an optional extra on the Platinum.
Yeah, so what's going on right now is the bottom of my seat is actually raised up to make it level with the rear. So I can just literally lay all the way back at a charger, which I think is really cool. I think that's cooler than the Ionix wannabe.
The little thigh extender.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything. It goes out like
worthless.
A fourth of a way.
They don't even put on the passenger side, which is who I think would actually benefit from it.
Yeah, exactly, because they don't want you to be too comfortable in there. So let's go through the, we went through the infotainment on another one, right? So we're not going to sit there and dial through all the settings, but it's very similar to Mach-E.
Yeah, very easy to use. You can see now it's a truck emblem up there, and you can see, I wish they would have that.
I wish it would be color matched.
Oh, they're oscillating between colors. That's interesting.
I wonder if we can choose. So we have our off-road mode. Click into that off-road mode.
Locking differential,
yeah, so
nice.
that's one thing I noticed on the off-road. I don't know if this isn't... what did we do?
One pedal drive is unavailable.
We're in full off-road, traction off, and you see the rear diff lock. The other thing in here, just the truck guy and me, and y'all might know this from other ones, but I think this is the coolest thing you can ever put inside of a truck, especially...
I'm excited to test that out.
This is our payload capacity. This is showing us right now how much payload the truck actually has. So whenever we load up the rear, if you're like me and you're not sure and you don't want to go hit a cat scale, you can just pull this up and it will tell you not only the payload of the truck, but also where you're at as far as the measurements of onboard, the actual poundage that you're coming in. And if you have a trailer hooked up, you can hit trailer and see what the weight of how much of that trailer weight is pulling onto your tongue.
And it will take into account the vehicle payload and the trailer and give you an adjusted range estimate on the dash.
Because we are going to tow with this, we're going to figure out what we're going to tow with it. It's either going to be like an RV or we're just going to go rent a trailer and throw a truck on it or something.
So we're going to do some towing, I think, compare it to the Rivian maybe, see if we can compare it to a gas truck. And then thermal testing, this versus Rivian, because that's something Kyle and I ran into in the desert with the Rivian, is it just kind of had some thermal issues every once in a while.
And what was that? Explain that for people who might not know what thermals are.
We could run the Rivian pretty aggressively, just like on the desert floor, stomping on it, and then it would go into turtle mode because it was overheating. It wouldn't tell us it was overheating, but it went into turtle mode. And then when we stopped and let it cool down, turtle went away.
So one thing I noticed with this, what can you explain to the non-EV nerds out there what these two gauges are on our gauge cluster? So we got C and H, but they're two different level. I think I'm guessing
it's cold and hot, and one I think is the battery temperature, and the other is the motor temperature, which is cool. If you get the tow package, I think that's when that shows you those gauges, so you can actually keep track of your battery and motor temperatures, and it also gives you extra cooling on those. So
does this have preconditioning, charger preconditioning?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll have to find out.
We're full of questions. And oh, we're gonna do a canyon blast. You know, Kyle's gonna do more driving dynamics. He of course did a first drive at the actual drive event, but we're going to do, you know, Kyle's actual driving on his canyons that he knows and loves. So we obviously have lots of questions, right?
Yep,
Zach?
tons of them.
And we're gonna try to answer our own questions, but also I'm sure you guys have questions. So tell us in the comments or tweet at us or whatever. What do you want to know? What do you want to see us do with this truck? Because we have it for how long?
10 days.
10 days.
Which is, normally we have these press cars for 7 days. So Ford was generous enough to lend us this car for 10 days. And potentially, we might be getting the base one this week too.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to run them side by side. So please drop your comments below for any questions that y'all might have, anything y'all want to see us do with these cars, but also any like, hey, I'm 6'5". Will I fit in the back seat with the seat all the way back? I don't know. Let's find out.
We can,
you know?
every little thing you want to know. This is the idea behind this entire week and a half with the Lightning is to quote unquote demystify it. So everything you want to know, from what you would want to expect living with it, or if you're just wanting to go rent it for something or buy it for your business, drop those in the comments and tweet at us, do whatever. We'll cover everything we possibly can the next week and a half. And yeah, looking forward to spending a lot of time with this truck.
A lot of time. This is going to be an awesome 10 days.